Hello, everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're in the very beginning of our new unit, Making Business Decisions. And so far, we've held a discussion talking about some of those business decisions, and we've started to look at the kind of personality that leads to one kind of decision or another. So we're going to take that a step further today by doing a little bit of reading. And in fact, we'll be doing kind of a sort of personality test to help us expand our vocabulary about types of decisions and the types of personalities that lead to those decisions to help us talk about this in a more complex way. Well, that's a little bit about my class. Here's a bit about me. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words you're learning when you are speaking so that I can correct you and give you feedback. And finally, classmates, relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. By the way, I've got 2 things to share with you. So first, a presentation screen, one that we've been working on. We started yesterday. What else? But I also want to share something new. Let me see if I can get this on screen. Okay, so right now on screen you should see a progress test. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, good. So after the unit is completed, I want to give you a way to evaluate yourself to see how much you're retaining from what you've learned. So I'm going to try this as an experiment. Here's, you can see the first page. What I'm going to do is divide up the major things that we've been learning and put them into one test. Well, let me show you what I mean. So from the working with words section, we have some key vocabulary. This is from the last one. This is the last unit, ethical business. So you've got to use one set of key vocabulary by filling in the blanks. Then you have the next set of vocabulary. So these are not all the words, but some of the key words. And then you have to fill in the word from memory. Well, in this case, you've got to fill in the form of the word based on what we learned in class. So the answers aren't given to you here, so you're just trying to recall. The next part of the progress test is for the key phrases, whatever function we were doing, whether it was, presentations or whatever skill we were learning, we have a set of key phrases. So you're going to test your knowledge of those key phrases here. This is by putting them back into a dialogue. And then finally, on the last page here, you have a short 5-question vocabulary test where you're choosing between the right forms of the future. Okay, and then as always, when I give a homework, you can self-correct on the last page, and you give an answer out of 30. So there, if you want to get a percentage, it's very simple. Multiply the number that you got right, or divide by the number that you got right, the number that you should have gotten right, and then times it by 100, and you'll get a percentage out of 100. So I'm going to try this. I'm not going to do it in class, but I want you to try it on your own. I'm going to send it to you. So that's one way we can evaluate the skills. I have another progress test which is based on speaking, but that's something that we can't necessarily do. You can't do it on your own. So we can look at it as a group activity. But for now, I want you to try this, and I would like you to report back your grades I'd like you to send me your grades. You can either send it to me out of 30 or send me your percentage, so I have a sense of how much you're retaining. It's not the best test in the world, but it's just an idea to get for both of us, for you as well as me, to see more or less what's coming across well. What do you think about doing a little progress test on your own? Is that a good idea?
Could be.
Could be. Okay. What do you think, Sylvia? Is that
Yes,
a good idea? Bad idea?
No, for the
Wrong kind of
grammar is
test?
no. I saw that the results, the grammar part, and so it would be helpful, so I can understand where I have my bigger lack in the grammar.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, there's a speaking test, but we either have to do that as a group, and that's going to be hard, or I have to schedule the speaking test for you to do. And maybe there's a way for us to do that in an easy way. If you're doing private lessons, we can just do it. If you're not doing private lessons, maybe I could arrange it so that you schedule a trial lesson, which is a lot cheaper, and it's short, because the speaking test would take, not much time, 15, 20 minutes. So if you wanted a personal evaluation, we could try it like that. Anyway, I'll send it for you. I'll send it to you, and then you let me know your grade if you choose to do it, and let me know what you think about it as a final activity to give an assessment. Okay, let's get started with the actual unit right now. Let's get started. So, you've got making business decisions. We've so far just been talking in very general terms about about business decisions, about personality, and about the types of decisions, the decision-making process, and the types of decisions that can be made. Yesterday's class we talked in general. We had 2 discussion points, which you can see on screen now. And at the very end of class yesterday, I asked you in the notes to think about, let's see, I asked you to think about synonyms for the 2 types of decision making. So let me share the notes with you for a second here, and let me see if you've given this any thought. If you have, great. If you haven't, no problem, we can do it now. So on our notes document, which is on page 6, you see class number 1, and then you see a summary of what we did yesterday, and then you'll see words. And there was an assignment too that I sent you, which you can see down here at the bottom. Okay, but I want to look at words for a minute. Yesterday, we agreed that there's 2 basic kinds of decision making: gut decisions and head decisions. And I said, I'd like you to try to think of some other ways to describe each of those. We came up with 2. Rash tend to be gut decisions. Calm tend to be head decisions, ones that you think about. I'm curious if you thought of any other words or expressions for either of those categories. Just curious if any other words come to mind.
I saw in the dictionary snap decision.
Excellent. Snap decisions. Very good. Snap means fast. Snap is like this, when you snap your fingers. So we also use it to mean fast. Say again?
Snap
Is this.
fast. Okay.
All right? So it means fast. I did it like that. I did it in a snap. That means I did it quickly. Okay, great. So rash, that's a pejorative word. Snap decisions, that can be negative. Can be. Any other ideas? Out of curiosity, any other synonyms we might want to come up with for head decisions or gut decisions? Anything else come to mind? I'll give you another one. Common calculated decisions are head decisions. Calculated
Rational?
Yeah, rational. Calculated means the same as rational. So we can put all those there. Anything else come to mind?
Reasonable.
Reasonable. Well, reasonable is good, but that
No.
might describe more of a person, of a personality, right? Someone who is reasonable.
Smart.
Yeah, well, smart. I don't know what smart means.
Smart man. Smart guy.
Maybe. Look, if we go to personality, right? Reasonable. Someone who makes calculated. Well, calculated could also mean that you're being deceptive. You have to be careful. But someone who makes calm decisions is a reasonable person. So your personality might be reasonable. Okay, well, since we're on the topic of personality, can you think of any other words that might describe personality in decision making? That might be another good thing to think about.
How about realistic?
Realistic. So a realistic decision maker, realistic, there we go. Someone who is, here we have to use the verb to be. Someone who is reasonable, someone who is realistic. Okay. Is someone who is realistic a gut decision maker, a rash decision maker, or a calm and calculated decision maker? Shadow.
Head decision, I think.
Yeah, a bit more head than gut, if you're realistic. Okay, great. Well, let's keep updating this as we go along. I'll keep returning to our word section and give you more words. Okay? So let's start a new class. I'm going to create a class right now. I'll add notes and corrections to it as we go along. We're always on page 6 of our notes, but we're going to go back to our presentation right now. Okay? And our summary we haven't done yet. I'm going to leave it blank. I'm going to try to have a summary every class so that we can make it a little bit easier for you to remember what we did and what the purpose of it was, etc. Okay? So let's get back to the presentation, and we're going to get some input and have a little personality test. Give me a second, and I'll put that back on screen. Can you see it? There we go. Okay. So in today's class, we're going to go into vocabulary, working with words. We're going to talk more in depth about personality and decision making. That is our goal. You're going to read a text about personality and decision making. Which personality type? Number 1 thinks it's important to be on time. These are your general questions. Number 2 enjoys an argument. Number 3 finds it hard to concentrate on one thing at once. And 4 is more interested in the future than the past. We're going to read about several personality types, starting with Mr. Daniel. Can you read our first for us?
Yes. Are you an extrovert or an introvert?
Say that again, because I heard you instead of you.
Okay. Are you
Good, that's it.
are you an extrovert or an introvert? Extroverts are often outgoing and enthusiastic. They are good with people and enjoy a public role. They prefer to do lots of things at once and can be easily distracted. They're talkers rather than listeners and can be impulsive. Introverts are often self-contained and reserved. They can be very focused when
Good.
when working on tasks and prefer to focus on time.
You've got to work on that. It's that difficult S, because you want to say tack, but you've got to say tasks.
Tasks.
I know, but you're missing the first S. You know what? If it's easier, just drop the K and just say tasks.
Okay.
tax.
tax.
Okay.
Tax.
That's
On
it.
tax.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but forget about the K. Forget it. Just say tasks, and then in the second word, put the K. So if it says tasks and, you could say tasks scan. Because if you say
Okay.
scan, you're actually going to make the words connect. Task scan, and what?
Taxan. Okay.
Tasks scan. Say scan for me.
Scan.
Perfect.
Test can.
That's it. If you say it fast, it'll sound perfect. Task scan. Task
Mhm.
scan.
When working on tasks can prefer to focus on one thing at a time. They are good listeners, they think before they act and prefer to be behind the scenes.
So extroverts and introverts so far. Andre, do you think you could read for us about the difference between a thinker and a feeler according to this personality test?
uh, uh, I say differences between introvert and extroverts? Yeah.
No. We're just reading first, and then we'll talk about it. Do you think you could read the second text for us on the right side?
Oh, okay. Thinkers usually take a rational approach to decision making and prefer to remain detached. They are honest and direct, valuing fairness. They can be ambitious and critical. They take few things personality and like arguing and debating issues for fun.
One thing, not personality, but personally.
Uh, per, yeah, personally.
Okay, good. Keep going, Andre.
Feelers are often instinctive in their decisions, rather than relying on facts or reasons. Tactful and diplomatic, they avoid arguments and take many things personally.
Personally.
Personally, yeah.
That's it.
Uh, they appear warm and friendly, like to be appreciated, and are good at complimenting others.
Okay, very good. So we've got introvert versus extrovert, thinker versus feeler. We're going to come back to these categories in a moment. Let's see if we can just get all the information in our heads first. Yuki, tell us the difference between a sensor or an intuitive.
Um, Intuitive and what do you say?
Here in text number 3 on the left side. So we're on the next page, left
Yes.
side. Sensor or an intuitive.
Next page.
Yeah.
Sensor or intuitive. Just reading.
Yeah,
Or
just read. Yeah.
okay. Are you sensor or an intuitive? Sensors are often sensible and pragmatic. They are good at understanding details and remembering facts and specifics. They are reliable and methodical and work at a steady pace. They trust their own experience and use established skills. In- Intuitives are often energetic and creative. They like to focus on a big picture and on future possibilities. They like things that are new and different and prefer to learn new skills. They are thoughtful when making decisions and trust their instincts.
Mm-hmm. Just one question. Is it prefer or prefer?
Prefer. Uh,
Right. Right. Second syllable. Prefer.
yes,
Prefer.
prefer to.
Right. And that's because we change the stress according to whether it's a noun or a verb.
It's
Right?
verb.
Like
So
here it's a verb. Here it's a verb, so it's on the second syllable.
absolutely. is put on second syllabus.
That's right. But in the word preference, it's a noun. So we move it to the first syllable. Preference. But in a verb, to prefer, second syllable. Okay? And what do you think, Shadow? Can you read the last one for us? Judger or perceiver?
Yeah, sure. Are you judger or perceiver? Judges often make decisions easily and quickly. They appreciate plans, rules, and schedules and are usually punctual. They are determined, keep to their deadlines, and like to complete projects. They are serious and conventional.
Conventional.
Conventional
Mm-hmm.
and like decisiveness.
Decisiveness. Decisiveness.
Decisive,
Decisive.
decisiveness
Good.
in others. Perceivers are often. Teacher, there is the hand.
Sorry.
Receivers are often indecisive.
Wait, it's the same word as before. It's the same word, just with an in. Indecisive.
Oh, it's hard, teacher. In this. Sorry again.
Listen. Say sigh. Just repeat that syllable. Sigh.
Sigh. Indecisive.
That's right. Indecisive.
Indecisive. They like to be flexible and to keep their option open. Being unconventional.
Unconventional.
Unconventional. They dislike rules and deadlines. They like to start projects and prefer to play now and work later.
Okay, very good. By the way, one thing, Shadow. When you get to the end of the sentence, your voice needs to drop down because you tend to read the sentences like they're questions, right? You follow? So I'm saying that because it's not noticeable maybe to anyone else, but to a native speaker, they might think that you're asking them a question. Because you'll say, they are serious and conventional, and they like decisiveness in others.
I didn't get the word. Sorry.
But it's not that. It's not the pronunciation. It's just that your voice goes up instead of down. So listen to me. I would say, they are serious and conventional. My voice drops down. And they like decisiveness in others. In others. It really drops down on the last syllable. So,
okay.
Otherwise, sometimes it might sound like you're asking a question or that you're not certain of what you're trying to say. But in fact, it's just because you're getting interference from your native language. So it's a different rhythm in your native language. I think that's what it is. So we've got these choices here in trying to decide what a business personality is like. Extrovert, introvert, thinker, feeler, sensor or intuitive, judger or perceiver. Let's go back to our questions and just making sure that you got the general idea. Which personality type thinks it's important to be on time? Based on what you read, these business personality types, which one do you think is the punctual one?
I had judge.
Sorry.
Someone.
Judger.
Judger, I think.
Judger. First one? Okay. I'll tell you what, let's do this. I'll make a note and then we'll verify the answers at the end. So it was judger? Is that it?
No.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right. We'll take a look in a second. Which personality type enjoys an argument, according to the text? What do you remember? I should probably put on the screen the names, but because thinker, feeler, extrovert, introvert, sensor or intuitive, and I forgot the other one. Hold on a second. The other one was
Thinker.
judge or perceiver. Yeah, okay, judge or perceiver. So Yuki, you're saying that it's the thinker who enjoys the argument. Is that right?
I think
Yeah?
so.
Okay, it's just a guess. It doesn't have to be right or wrong. It's just to see how much of the details you remember. So let's put thinker down there for that. Which personality type finds it hard to concentrate?
Extrovert.
Say,
Extrovert.
extrovert, okay. Extro. Oh, what happened? I can't write. Not letting me write. Hold on a second. Extrovert. Oh, come on. What's wrong with this? Extrovert. There we go. Finally, which personality type is more interested in the future than the past?
It's intuitives.
Intuitive. Hello? Hello? Kako, we hear a very loud TV. Oh, you're gone. Okay, bye. Nice talking to you.
So it's a feeler.
Which is that? I'm sorry?
A feeler.
Feeler. So we've got a
Feeler often instinctive.
instinctive. Yeah, I agree. The feeler is instinctive. I agree. But hang on a second.
No.
Wait a second. We've got judger, thinker, extrovert, intuitive, and feeler. We have to choose one of those for number 4. So let's see. What do you think, everyone? What would you say about the last part? Hands up for intuitive. Raise your hands. I can't see you. What's going on? Hands up for feeler.
No,
Hello?
I misunderstood. Sorry. Intuitive. Correct
It's
answer.
intuitive.
Intuitive.
Right.
Intuitive.
Sorry.
It's intuitive. Okay, very good. So that means you're picking up the details pretty well. Judge or thinker. I think you're right. I agree with those answers as well. So let's do this. We're going to use the vocabulary here. It asks us to match the statements. All of these words you're seeing were in the text. Let me just double check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Because we have outgoing, impulsive, self-contained. Let's just double check. Outgoing, self-contained. Yes, okay. So if you like, you can read the text again. It's up to you. You can read the text again. But what I'd like us to do is, based on that one reading that we did, let's see how many of these we can match. Okay? And then if necessary, we'll go back and look at details. You're free at any point to scroll through the presentation. You can open this or download it to your computer. You're always free to go forward or backward on your own. Okay? But let's give it a try. Let's see what you can remember. So the first one is detached. I'm not influenced by other people or by emotions. I would describe myself as detached. Shadow, what do you think about number 2?
I always do things in a careful and well-ordered way.
Flexible, instinctive, methodical,
I think,
tactful, thoughtful, rational. What do you think?
I think thoughtful.
Thoughtful. We'll find out at the end. We're going to go through this and then we'll go back because we might change our mind as time goes on. All right? And go ahead. Andrei, what would you say about number 3?
I find it hard to make up my mind about things.
Mm-hmm.
Creative.
Creative. Oh, you don't have a good opinion about creative people then. Okay, we'll see how far we get. We might change some of these. We'll see. What do you think, Sylvia? Number 4.
I focus on what I want to do and don't let anyone stop me. Determined.
Determined. Okay. And I lost my place. I don't know who's next. Daniel, forgot about you. Number 5.
I do things based on my own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Instinctive.
Instinctive.
In-
Instinctive.
Instinctive.
All right. And back to Yuki for 6.
I'm happy to change my plans when necessary to suit my friends. I think flexible.
Flexible. Okay. Now, as we continue, you may want to change some of your former answers. Just keep that in mind. I haven't corrected any of these, so you may say, oh, wait a second, we need to use ones that we did before. Okay? So I think we're back to the beginning. Who was first? Shadow, I think?
Mm-hmm. I'm confident and friendly. I'm confident and friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Self-contained. Hello, teacher.
Maybe teacher was gone.
Don't like my answer.
No, I don't think so. That's okay. It often happened. It often happens.
Yuki, the answer is okay? You are the older classmate.
Yeah, tell me, okay.
I think it's okay.
You are almost a master.
No, I'm not a master. John, can
Hello.
you hear me?
Hello,
Welcome
teacher.
back.
Welcome back to the class.
Yes. Send my regards to Google for kicking me out. I don't know why I did that.
Sado anxious about what he answered was not correct. That's because our teacher has left.
I left. I was so upset with Shadow that I just left. I couldn't take it anymore. Shadow, I'm just joking. What did you say? I'm sorry. What did you say?
Yeah, I said self-contained.
Self-contained. Okay. We'll find out in a moment. So let's keep going around in the same order. Who was after Shadow? Was it Andre, I think?
Yes. I like to think about things carefully.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pragmatic.
Pragmatic. Pragmatic? Is that one of our choices? Where's pragmatic? Oh, yeah, it is. I see it.
Pragmatic.
Pragmatic. I think we're going to get ourselves into trouble really soon. You're going to have to start to go back and look at some of your answers because, well, we'll see. We'll see. Who's after Andre? Who's next? I forgot.
Don't be indecisive.
Okay, I can do this. I forgot. I can produce new things using my imagination. It's creative.
Uh-oh. If that's creative, that means that we have to change our answer to number 3. Let's move creative down here. Okay, so we're going to get back to 3 at the end. Okay? By the way, the answer to sorry, did I put that number 9? Yeah, I did. The answer to number 9 is creative because it's imagination, right? So we have to use it there. So it's definitely right. So think about number 3. We'll come back to it. After Sylvia was who? Daniel, I think? Is that right? For number 10?
10. I do what is normal and acceptable.
Mm-hmm. You do only what is normal and acceptable, in other words. Nothing different.
Acceptable.
Self-contained.
Self-contained.
No. Rational.
I couldn't hear you. Repeat.
Rational.
Rational. Is that a choice? Where's rational? Oh, it is. You're right. I didn't see it there. Rational. Okay. And who's next? Is it Yuki?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I make decisions objectively. It's rational, no?
Yeah, this one's rational.
Yes.
This one is a better fit for rational. All right. So that means we got to go back to 3 and 10 and rethink them. And we might find some others. So we're back to Shadow for 12.
I don't do things that will upset or annoy people. Is it tactful?
Tactful. Okay, I agree. Whoops.
Sorry,
Tactful.
teacher. Sorry, teacher.
Yes.
Could we use adjectives several times?
No.
No, only one time.
Only one time. Why is this not writing properly? Tactful. There we go. Andre, you're on number 13. By the way, you're not supposed to get the answers right. Keep that in mind. You're supposed to make a mistake. So when you make a mistake, I correct you when you learn. So don't worry about being accurate. Just make an educated guess.
Just try to have fun.
Yeah, because by getting it wrong and being corrected,
yes, take it easy.
Yeah, you'll remember better anyway. So it's a better way to learn. So what do you think about 13?
I depend on myself.
And remember, you can go back and change an answer from before. So you don't have to use just the words that are left. You could say, oh, wait a second. We need to use the one that we did before, and I just slide it down. So what do you think? I depend on myself. I don't depend on others.
Maybe thoughtful.
He thinks thoughtful. Let me give you a hint, Andre. I depend on myself. Myself. Have we seen that before anywhere else? Myself. Self.
Okay.
Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it's familiar for me. Okay. I have self-contained.
Self-contained, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a better fit. If I depend on myself, I don't depend on others, I am self-contained. It's a much better fit than thoughtful.
Okay, yeah.
That's it. Very good. And who's next? Sylvia, I think?
I pay careful attention to what I'm doing, focused.
That was what, 14, right? Focused, okay. I think that's a good fit, so I'll just keep it. And Daniel? I don't know what order we're going in. I think it's Daniel.
I do things as I think of them without considering the consequence. Impulsive.
Yeah, it's how I live my life. Impulsive. Very good. Let me move this over so you can see it better. And our last one is... Who's next? Is it Yuki? Are you next?
I think Sylvia is next. No?
No, Sylvia did focus. I think it's you, Yuki.
Okay. Sorry. I like to find practical solutions to problems.
Practical. That's the key.
Practical. Pragmatic.
Pragmatic. So we have to take number 8 and slide it down.
Yes.
Okay. That means we have to rethink some of these, particularly 3, 7, 8, and 10. Okay? If we rethink those, we might actually have to change some of our answers, but I can tell you some of them are very obvious, like depend on myself must be self-contained, because you got the word self in there. It's a big clue. And I think impulsive is a similar word in all the languages that we know, so it's probably pretty obvious.
Sorry, teacher, I have an idea about third one.
Okay, go for it.
It's much too indecisive.
Indecisive is correct. That's right. Indecisive, because it means you have trouble making a decision. In shows you how that's the suffix for not decisive.
It means I don't usually rely on myself. I tend to rely on other people.
Yeah, it could be. You can't make a decision yourself. You rely on other people, or you rely on the circumstances even. Like wait until it's too late so that you don't have to make a decision. That's exactly right.
I'm always indecisive before joining the bubbling class.
Why?
Yes. I'm getting very nervous before joining the class.
Oh my God. Just don't be indecisive before my class.
Before your class, it's okay.
Okay, all right.
I'm get used to your class. Your class. So. But if it was a new teacher, it is very this.
Be afraid. Be
Yes.
afraid of new teachers. Be very afraid. I hate classes. I never take classes. I hate them. I will not take language classes. I won't do it. I tried. I can't stand being a student. So I know how you feel. But if you were teaching Japanese, I would put my fears aside and take your class, Yuki. So you should really start teaching Japanese.
It sounds strange. You are a teacher, but you don't want to be a student. Yeah.
I want to be a student, but I want to teach myself. I don't know. I feel strange in class. Also, I haven't taken a lot of language classes that really worked for me. I just didn't get a lot out of them. If I had a really good class, I would definitely do it. But I feel like a lot of times there isn't enough time to speak or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Or you are self-contained teacher.
I don't know.
Or you are self-contained.
No, I was a terrible student for languages before. Now I'm good, but before I was terrible. I was good at languages, but I was bad at being a student at languages. Now I think I'm probably better.
Is that so? Yeah.
But I just couldn't stand having to be in a class where someone calls on you and you have to have an answer ready. It makes me very nervous. Not now, but in the past. So I think a better way to do the class is to be communicative, where people just, we've got to learn vocabulary like we're doing now. But the better way is then to use it to speak as quickly as possible, because then you have more thinking time, and I think you don't feel so nervous. So that's my answer to feeling indecisive about a class. I think that if you can really express yourself, even with new vocabulary, then I think it's okay. I don't know. I'd feel good in that kind of class. By the way, we've got 3 more that we don't have an answer for. Who's got number 7? I'm feeling confident and friendly.
Outgoing.
Say again, Daniel?
Outgoing.
Outgoing is correct. That's it. Oops. It's not letting me write it.
Teacher, how about easygoing? It's the same?
No, easygoing is relaxed.
Mm.
Right? Outgoing is extroverted. So the opposite of outgoing is shy. The opposite of easygoing is uptight, like someone who is like only has to follow the rules. So they're a little bit different.
Is it the same as lazy? No.
As what?
Easygoing is the same as lazy. Lazy.
Lazy? What is that? I don't know.
Lazy.
Sorry,
He said lazy.
Got it. Easygoing. No, but lazy is very negative. It's kind of like an insult. And easygoing is a very positive word. So easygoing is just relaxed, basically.
Okay.
It's a good vocabulary word, but it's positive and lazy is kind of negative. Easygoing equals relaxed, or we say chilled out, or we say cool, like that in the chat window.
Is
Relaxed.
it an adjective?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can tell by putting the verb to be. I am easygoing. So the verb to be is always followed by adjectives. Or let's say 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an adjective. What about number 8? Who's got that one?
So you are easygoing teacher, but not lazy.
No, I'm lazy.
Yeah? I don't think so.
I don't have time to be lazy. I wish I could be lazy. What about number 8? I like to think about things carefully.
Methodical.
Methodical. Following a method. Methodical. Okay, and that leaves us with number 9. I do what is normal. Normal and acceptable. Conventional. Conventional. Okay. Do we have all the answers 100% correct? What do you think? Did we make any mistakes?
I'm sure that it is 100% correct.
Then you need to look again, Yuki.
Yeah, really?
Really. Because
sorry.
look, 2 of these need to be switched. Look at this. I do things in a careful and well-ordered way. Is that thoughtful? Is that the best answer for thoughtful?
No. It's not correct.
So let's move thoughtful out of the way. We've got to put it somewhere else. Which one of those words that we already used fits better in number 2 than where it is currently? The key here is well-ordered, systematic.
I have an idea that it's much too conventional.
No, but conventional means like conservative, like, you know, it's
usual.
Methodical.
Methodical. I agree. Methodical, it's like well-ordered. So, does that mean that number 8 is thoughtful? I like to think carefully. Do we agree?
Yes, number 8.
All right. I think we got it now. Methodical, indecisive, determined, right? Instinctive, flexible, right? Outgoing, thoughtful, creative, conventional, rational, tactful, self-contained, focused, impulsive, and pragmatic. Okay, now we got it. It's 100% correct. There we go. Okay, now that we've got some good vocabulary words floating around in our working memory, I want you to choose 5 of those adjectives and explain what kind of person or what kind of people you like to work with the most and why. Sylvia, pick 5, and you have to work them into your definition of your ideal work partner.
Okay. I prefer work with flexible people because so we can arrange a better schedule, and determined because we can reach the you go
the goal, the deadline.
Yeah, the goal before, and focus because we can work less time. We are focused on the work, and so it's better. Methodical. So we can work better, and
I think that's 4. I got determined, methodical, focused. I forgot the first one.
Flexible.
Okay. 4 out of 5 is good enough for now. One thing that you can do is use them more as adjectives integrated into the sentence instead of giving like a definition and then a response, like definition example or definition clarification. Because you're saying, well, it would be I like to work with people who are focused because we can get the job done faster. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But could you say it in a different way? For example, I think focused people tend to stay on task and get the job done faster. So instead of talking about yourself, put the focus on the people that you're describing. Do you see what I mean? Because it'll
Yeah.
sound a little more natural that way, and it'll flow a little bit better. So take the focus off of yourself, put it onto the person you're describing. Um, let's see. What do you think? Maybe we have time for one or two of these. Daniel, what kind of partner would be ideal for you? I'd like you to see if you can beat Sylvia. Sylvia got to 4. Let's see if you can get to 5.
Okay.
We're in a race here.
First of all, I
Right.
like a partner, outgoing partner, because it's for me it's easy to work with someone who doesn't have apparently any problem,
Mhm.
a personal problem, or uh,
If
uh,
if they're outgoing,
in,
they probably don't have personal problems.
yes.
Okay, could be. By the way, just a quick note here. In the chat window, I'll give you a few connectors for reasons,
Okay.
like because, as, since, due to, just so that you don't keep repeating because. And I'll see if I can add a few others as we go along. So outgoing is on the top of your list.
I would like to partner a creative partner because I don't creative enough and I need new ideas for my work.
So I don't think I'm creative enough.
I don't.
I got to hear the verb to be because these are adjectives. You said I don't creative, but what you meant to say was I'm not creative or I don't think I am creative enough. I got to hear the verb to be.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm not creative enough. No.
Creative enough.
Creative enough. Okay. I'm
Okay.
not creative enough.
Uh-huh.
And I like a methodical partner because in a big project you need to do things properly, the right way. And I like a flexible partner too,
Uh-huh.
because
Instead of saying I like,
uh,
I want you to focus more on describing the person. Exactly what I said to Sylvia. Instead of saying I like a flexible partner, you could say it like this. Having a flexible partner means, for example, you could put the focus on the description rather than on yourself. Look in the chat window. Having a flexible partner would mean, I could say it like this. Look in the chat window.
having a flexible partner. Okay, having a flexible partner could mean you're not going to have problems with your schedule. I have 3 of them, no?
That's yeah, that's 3. Oh, no, that was 4. Yeah, that was 4. You're tied with Sylvia right now.
And having a thoughtful person, it's maybe another very good adjective.
It is having a thoughtful person, as they can do what? As the project will go how? Since it's nice because. You see what I'm saying? If you use having a blank and then the connector because, as, since, due to, it'll sound very natural. So having a thoughtful person on your project is good as they do what?
It's good. It's very good to work with a nice person.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, it's good to work with a nice person, but that's not your choice. You have to use flexible, instinctive, methodical, tactful. You have to use one of those. All right, I'm going to put you and Sylvia. You're tied. You're tied so far. Shadow, I want you to talk about the least favorite kind of person you'd want to work with. And again, you're going to try to choose up to 5 adjectives from the list. So here, for example, the opposite of flexible is inflexible, right? So you might want to just use a suffix and change the word, or you can pick directly from the list. Talk a little bit about the 5 least positive aspects or descriptions, you might say, of a person you don't want to work with.
Not work with or
Yeah.
work with?
Work that you wouldn't want to work with.
Oh, okay.
So you're explain the kind of person you want to work with the least. I'll put it that way. Want to work with the least.
Yeah. How can I start with that?
You can start with this. Exactly what I said to Daniel. Having
Okay.
a blank person on my team. So blank is replaced by, let's say, indecisive.
Rational. Oh, okay.
Indecisive.
It doesn't have to. You choose whatever you want.
Okay.
What's the opposite of rational? What's the opposite, Shadow?
Emotional.
What?
Emotional.
Yeah, but you could also say irrational.
Oh,
Irrational,
okay.
right?
Mm.
So,
So, teacher, you want me to change this adjective to the opposite of it?
no, I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying it's one option to talk about negative things. It's one option for you. You don't
Oh,
have
okay.
to do it. No, it's up to you. But you could. So you could say emotional, that's fine. But you could also take an adjective and add a prefix or suffix and it will change. Rational, irrational, flexible, inflexible. Tactful, the opposite would be tactless.
Tactless. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I talk about person I don't want to work with.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So working with what's the difference? What's the opposite, teacher, or creative?
Um, uncreative, I guess.
Uncreative.
Uncreative, yeah.
Uncreative. Okay. So working with a person uncreative is the worst thing for me because it will make my work boring. Uh, just that.
Just one?
That's one.
Oh, okay.
Just that. Yeah. Teacher, you want me to say all negative things?
Yeah, because
Okay.
Sylvia and Daniel talked about who they most want to work with.
Okay.
Maybe you and Yuki and Andre will talk about who you least likely want to work with. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me get one answer from both Yuki and Andre before we run out of time here. Okay, so Yuki, what would you say?
I,
The kind of people you least want to work with.
Least, I don't, I want to work with the people with flexible character because I'm quite flexible, so I want to work with methodical and tactful partner.
So, flexible but methodical.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
Good.
flexible but methodical.
So look at the 2 ways we've started a sentence here because they're very useful, actually. using a gerund, working with uncreative people or working with flexible but methodical people. So using a gerund is a good way to start. And the other one was having, and then use your adjective. Having a flexible partner on a project would mean, and then you could define it like that. Andre, give us one. The person that you least or most would want to work with. I'll let you choose, positive or negative.
I'd want to work with outgoing and flexible and outlandish person. Since
Outlandish, wow.
yes, yes,
Outlandish, like they come to work dressed as a circus clown? Outlandish?
yes, and,
Wow.
who prefer to go to work in the clown clothes.
Oh, me too. Me too. I'm wearing a clown outfit right now. You can't see, but I am. So
I prefer to have that kind of person since I have the same qualities.
I got it. So
And
working with
I definitely could don't want to have rational and uncreative person because it's would be boring to work with them.
I agree. So look, we got a new word there. We got two words. We got outlandish. That's a good adjective. And also I'm going to add a word here. Like-minded. All of you are talking about what you prefer because you feel that you have those qualities as well. So the word would be like-minded. Working with someone who is methodical, flexible but methodical would mean working with a like-minded person. So like-minded is another really good keyword to try here. I think we're at the end of the hour, but look, maybe I can ask you to try this on your own because it's a little bit long. It says to go back through the text and find different personality types, right? But hang on just a second here. That's not the one I want. Oh, here it is. To decide which personality type you are most like in this section and write down the letter. So then it says, look on the next slide to find out what the choice reveals about you. Okay, I think it would be a good idea if you prepare this on your own. This 5.1. It says to write down the letter for the type that you choose, but actually it would be good if you could say it as kind of a short, 15, 20-second short presentation. Short, nothing long. So I might ask you to prepare this for tomorrow. And then what we're going to do is take a little personality test, because you'll see on the next page, the next 2 pages, depending on how you put the letters together, it gives you a kind of assessment. So you can see ENFJs. So you've got J's or judger. So depending on how you order your characteristics, you have different sort of profile there on page 14 and on page 15. All right? So I'll send this to you in the chat window, but basically you're going to think about what we said today. You can write a self-description using those character traits, the descriptions, but specifically you're going to write down the letters for the type you choose in each section, right? And according to your combination, we're going to see tomorrow what that says about you. Later in the class tomorrow, we're going to use that to do a proper description of a profile. For example, if you had to hire someone, if you're working in human resources, we're going to profile decision makers, so you get to do this in a more free way tomorrow, okay? So that's the plan. I'll send it to you as a homework. You think about the vocabulary, and of course, I'll be back for 2 hours speaking skills tomorrow at 10, and then this business class right after at 11 GMT. Okay? Very good job, everyone. Don't be a judger. Be a perceiver. I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about these yet.
We are good perceiver, so
Be a good perceiver.
so don't worry about it.
Have a great day, everyone. See you soon.
Thank you
Bye
for
for
that.
now.
Hope to
Bye-bye.
see you soon.